Good evening, baseball fans. How you doing? I'm in a great mood because my Red Sox kicked the crap out of the Yankees this weekend. My goodness. The Mariners are red hot. The Dodgers are red hot. The Yankees are done, and my goodness, that makes me happy. The Rangers have cooled off a little bit. The Nationals won their series against the Phillies. That was fun. Just a fun week of baseball. Let's get into it. And good evening, baseball fans. How you doing? How you doing? Hello, hello. Wow, we already got almost 200 people in this chat. How you all doing? How you all doing? I feel great. I feel great. Nice. It is always nice to sweep the Yankees, especially at Yankee Stadium. My goodness, it's a good weekend for me. I hope you're all having a great weekend. Mariners fans, you are all probably feeling amazing right now. Great weekend, great week. I mean, great month of baseball for the Mariners. I mean, my goodness, it's been since the All-Star break, the Mariners have been playing great baseball. Man, the Dodgers are red hot lately. Everyone out there on the West Coast, I hope you are all okay. You know, with the hurricane coming through, I saw a picture of a shark, or there was like some flooding, and there was a shark going through the water. And I'm like, oh my goodness, look at that. Hey, I live in Florida. I know all about the hurricanes. I've had many hurricane experiences ever since I was a wee little lad. I remember my first hurricane. I think I was 14 years old, 2004, Hurricane Gene. And I lost power for a week. Man, that was scary for me because I'd never been a part of a hurricane. I had moved to Florida when I was like 12 or 13 years old. No, when I was about 13 years old. And so I had never been through a hurricane. That was like one of the scariest experiences. It was a category 4, and it went down to a 3 pretty quick. But either way, you never see hurricanes on the West Coast. Oh, we got a super chat coming in from Tom Amiano, $20. My goodness, you were awesome, my friend. How you doing? He says, hey, Robbie, here's a few bucks to grab yourself a broom to help sweep those darn Yankees right out of their town. Let Bloom cook. Can you say Luis Arias? Oh, my goodness. Let Heim Bloom cook. Where are the Heim haters? The Heim haters are nowhere to be found. Luis Arias. Listen, I remember when they got Arias at the trade deadline. I'm like, man, I would have liked a picture. But all right, okay. Luis Arias, fine. And hey, grand slam off Garrett Cole. I think everyone is pretty happy with Arias right now. Tom, thank you so much. Seeing that sweep of the Yankees this weekend, it brought back memories of 2006, where the Yankees swept the Red Sox completely out of playoff contention. Remember, it was the 5-game series. It was labeled the Boston Massacre. That was a very depressing time of my life. I will always remember that series. I remember the Yankees traded for Bobby Abreu before then. I remember the Red Sox. They had a decent team that year. They just didn't quite have it in 06. Didn't quite have it. Anyway, but that kind of reminded me of that. Anyway, Tom, thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. Again, hope everyone is having a great week, a great weekend. And hey, I am back to work tomorrow. So it is a little late for me, but I do have something to show all of you. I've been working on something for a couple of months now. I've been having something in the works. Well, I haven't been working on it. I've been having someone else work on it for me, and he did an absolutely amazing job. But I'm going to debut that tonight. Not going to debut it too much. I'm going to show all of you what it is. I'm pretty excited to show all of you. But before we do get started, if anyone is new, think about subscribing down below. Everyone, you know the drill. Hit that like button. It helps with the algorithm. Hit the bell notification. That way you know I go live every single time, or anytime I upload a video, which I uploaded 2 videos this past week. I am back on the grind with making videos, so go check it out. I posted a video yesterday, the downfall of the Yankees, and I posted a video on Friday night as well. If you missed it, go check it out. It's the top mid-season turnarounds in history, at least what I think were the best turnarounds in history. Don't forget, we are sponsored here, proudly sponsored, happily sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Hey, go check out Underdog Fantasy. They got a lot of great games over there. I've been winning myself a few bucks over there, and I've been having a great time with it. Let's actually go check it out. Let's go see what is the dealio with Underdog Fantasy. Just a reminder, everyone, you know, I do want to do this full-time. I want to make my channel a full-time thing for me. So sponsors are a necessity for me if I want to be able to do this full time. It's my absolute dream. Unfortunately, I gotta pay the bills. Nothing is free. So Underdog, very happily sponsored with them. But Underdog Fantasy, they got a whole bunch of different ways to play. You got daily drafts, you got daily pick'ems. So if you look at the drafts here, you got football coming right around the corner. So I know a lot of you like football out there. But for instance, when it comes to Major League Baseball, there's a whole bunch of different drafts that you can do. For instance, tomorrow we can do 3-person draft, 6-person draft, 4-person. There's a whole bunch of different kind of drafts that you can do, so make sure you go check those out. And when it comes to daily pick'ems, hey, I honestly kind of like the pick'ems. I like both. I like the drafts and the pick'ems. So tomorrow, so just a few examples. You know, Michael Conforto, do you think he'll go higher or lower with 7 fantasy points? Wilmer Flores, do you think he'll get more than half a single? So basically, if you think he's going to get 1 single tomorrow, well, then you're going to win right there. So you got a whole bunch of different pick'ems here that you can choose from. Go check it out. Again, I've been having a great time with Underdog Fantasy. I have been playing myself. I've been winning myself a few bucks. So, hey, I know a lot of you are experts out there. You're always telling me, you know, Robbie, you don't know anything. This guy doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. Well, go test your own knowledge out on Underdog Fantasy and see how much of an expert you are. And if you are as much of an expert as you say you are, well, then, I mean, my goodness, you're gonna win a lot of money. You're going to win a lot of money. I'm just saying. But everyone, go check it out. Really would be greatly appreciated. Again, if I want to do this full time, I have to have sponsors on this channel. So it would just be amazing, and I will love you forever if you at least go check it out. And make sure you click the link in the description down below. Use my code HYDE, and you get a double on your first deposit up to $100. Everyone, let's get to it. Let's get to it here. You have all been waiting very patiently, and I always appreciate your patience. But let's get to it here. As always, we start at number 30. Let me just make sure. I feel like I've goofed something up here. Let me just make sure. Okay, I got the date right this time. Okay, everything is good to go. But we're going to start at number 30, as always, and I think this team is going to be in the number 30 spot for pretty much the entire year. We got the Oakland A's. So when it comes to, I've been mentioning this the last few weeks, since we're pretty much getting into playoff baseball, we're getting into the thick of the playoff races. I'm kind of gonna go through the bottom 15 pretty quickly, you know, maybe minus a couple of stories, but here we go. Oakland A's, Zach Geloff. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. I am so sorry. Is it Geloff? I'm sorry. But he has been tearing it up. Last 7 games, he's hitting .448 with a .515 on base percentage, a .793 slugging, 2 homers, 5 RBIs. He is absolutely killing it. Andrew Madison, thank you for becoming a member of the channel. You are amazing, my friend. Zach G, he wants the Yankees in the 30 spot. Listen, I can't go that far. But Geloff, overall, in the last 30 games, he's hitting in 30 games overall since being called up. He's hitting .302 with a .372 on base, a .621 slugging, 8 homers, 16 RBIs. Having a very good rookie season so far. On to number 29, we got the Kansas City Royals. Hey, the Royals have actually been swinging some good bats lately. They're 10th in WRC plus over the last 7. Bobby Wick Jr., he's been tearing it up over the last 7 games, hitting .452 with a .469 on base, an .839 slugging, 3 homers, 8 RBIs. Overall, on the year, Bobby Wick Jr., statistically on Fangraphs right now, he has the highest Fangraph WAR among all shortstops this year. So far, or through, August 20th, he is hitting .281 with an .823 OPS, 24 homers, 79 RBIs, and 36 stolen bases. Very good season for Bobby Wick Jr. Moving on to number 28, we got the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies have been swinging good bats as well. They're 4th in WRC plus over the last 7. Charlie Blackmon over his last 7 games, hitting .333 with a .462 on base, a .571 slugging. Nolan Jones. Is anyone realizing how good of a year Nolan Jones is having? Quietly having a good year. Remember, he got traded to the Rockies. He pretty much wasn't turning into anything with the Guardians, so they shipped him off to the Rockies, and he's found himself, I think, a home here in Colorado. He's having himself a good year. He's hitting .283, has an .867 OPS, 12 homers, 36 RBIs. This is a guy, I think the power is going to keep increasing with him. I think Nolan Jones is going to end up being a good ball player for the Rockies. Coming in at number 27, we got the Chicago White Sox. On the field, the most notable players lately, Dylan Cease, Mike Clevinger, pitching pretty decent. Clevinger, he is also quietly having a good year. In 16 starts this year, he has a 3.26 ERA. Over his last 3 starts, 4 earned runs. So Clevinger pitching pretty well. But the main story for the White Sox, pretty much this week, I guess it was this past weekend. I'll actually pull up the tweet here from Tim Anderson. He actually made a statement from the whole altercation with Jose Ramirez. The guy fell down like a sack of potatoes. My goodness, Jose Ramirez just knocked him the frick out. But Tim Anderson, he says here, I want to apologize to the entire White Sox organization, my teammates, manager, and coaches, and to the fans for my part in the altercation which took place in Cleveland. This has been an incredibly disappointing season for me personally and for our team. I will not get into the things that were said to me by Cleveland players both Friday night and Saturday, but those comments do not excuse my language or conduct, and I take full responsibility for my emotions getting the better of me. The Cleveland players are free to say whatever they want, but I will just say that no one has more respect for the game of baseball than me. I look forward to returning after serving my suspension and finishing the season playing the best baseball I can to help my team. I find it interesting that he kind of slid this in here, saying I'm not going to get into the things that were said to me. Sure, he's taking responsibility, but he's also kind of, in a way, it's like he's almost kind of giving an excuse for it slightly. Like he's taking the blame, but he's still saving a little bit of room to, blame guys on the Guardians. Supposedly, Tim Anderson was doing a lot of things to bother the Guardians. So, I don't know, a lot of it's he said, she said, but, I'm glad Tim Anderson at least came out, made a statement, said, hey, his actions were inexcusable. So I do appreciate that. But I do just remember with the Guardians, they were saying, that he was, playing a little dirty in some spots and he had some words for them. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that entire situation, but I'm glad he at least made a statement. So hopefully for him, back to some baseball. So moving on at number 26, we have the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm going to be honest with you. There's not really a whole lot with the Pirates this week. There's really not. Mitch Keller, he pitched really well against the Twins in his last start. 6 innings, 2 earned, 12 strikeouts against the Twins. Other than that, there's not really a whole lot else to talk about with the Pirates. I'm sad. I say this every single week with the Pirates. I want them to be good. You know, I wanted them to be good this year. They were off to that good start. And here we are, number 26. Here we go. Here we go. I'm going to debut something here on this channel. At number 25, we got the Washington Nationals. Actually, the Nationals had themselves a great week. They won 2 out of 3 against my Red Sox. They just won their series against the Phillies this past week, and they won tonight. Over the last 7 games, 12th in WRC+. Meneses, Ruiz, Garrett swinging hot bats. Mackenzie Gore, he looked really good against my Red Sox until he came out of the game early. Ended up having a blister on his on his finger. So Mackenzie Gore, it looks like he's going to be fine. A lot of people were really worried about that when he came out of his start. I'm telling you, man, with the Nationals, you know, hey, good point, Justin Goins. Good point. Yes, with the Pirates, yes, Paul Skeens looking very good so far in the minor leagues. I was thinking more of the major league team, but down in the minor leagues, yeah. Paul Skeens is already looking like he can come up to the major leagues already. So, that'd be awesome. Can we have Paul Skeens come up to the majors, please? Is that at all possible? I hope so. And we still got plenty of time. Could they do it? I don't know. Anyway, back to the Nationals. Overall, good week for the Nationals. Hey, beat my Red Sox, beat the Phillies. Let's see if this new feature works. Let me just see if it works. Okay, I've been waiting for this for a couple of months. I've had someone working on it for me. Okay. All right, it's looking like it's good. Everyone. Also, you know what? You might have already noticed here. Let me just make sure. Oh, no. Okay, so you haven't seen that other feature that I'm talking about. But here is something new on this channel. Let's get a bit of a drum roll. Oh, Con Man dropping the super chat. Gonna have to wait for the new feature. Conman752 at the rate he's moving. Dylan Cruz is gonna be up by September for the Nats. Yeah, he's off to a good start as well. The Nationals, man, they're gonna be really good. They're gonna be so good. I think they're gonna be competitive next year. So here we go. Conman, thank you for your super chat. I greatly appreciate it. Here we go. Back to the new feature. Here we go. Debuting on this channel. Hopefully it works. Can you hear me? I'm sorry, everyone. Oh, I forgot to add the microphone to that screen, of course. Hold on one second, everyone. Let me get that fixed. But you all saw it. I think that looks pretty neat. I'll get back to that. Let me just add the microphone here real quick. I knew I was doing something wrong. Here we go. So let's do... Where is the microphone? Here we go. Well, of course, you got to be able to hear me. Here we go. All right, so that should be good now. Okay, all right. I think that's good now. All right. Does this work? Okay, this should be working now. Okay, here we go. Here we go. New feature on the channel. We got live box scores. We got the scoring plays on the top right corner. And even on the bottom, we now have a score ticker, right? So these scores that you see down below are actual scores from today. So, Justin Goins. Disappointed? Come on. I think that looks pretty neat. I'm just saying. But yeah, I'm pretty happy about this, honestly. It took a little while to get this made, but overall, very happy with it. So I will be using these more often. I got to figure out kind of just how I'm going to implement them exactly. Of course, I can look at them during power rankings too. But yeah, I'm going to be sprinkling them in anytime we want to just go look at a game or whatever. So I hope everyone is happy with the new feature. I had to wait a couple of months for this. So there we go. Let's get back to it. So where was I? We just had a whole malfunction right there. My goodness. My potato brain kicking in yet again. Here we go. Back to it. So, at number 24, we have the Mets. With the Mets, with the Mets. They're actually swinging some hot bats lately, a lot of hot bats lately. Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo, Lindor, McNeil, Stewart, they're all swinging hot bats. Third in WRC plus over the last 7 games for the Mets. But, with the Mets, too little, too late. It's, to me, I think this is one of the biggest disappointments of all time when you just look at how this roster was constructed, how much money was put into this roster. Yeah, sure, they're swinging the bats well lately, but in the end, what can you do? Kadai Senga, he pitched really well against the Cardinals. 7 innings pitched, 1 earned, 5 Ks. Hey, they're playing better, but in the end, they're out of it. But the big story that everyone's been paying attention to is with Pete Alonso. So if you didn't see what I think pretty much everyone here, if you're into baseball as much as I am, you saw what happened with Pete Alonso. Mason Wynn made his major league debut recently, and he got his first hit the other night, running out kind of like a dribbler down the line. But Pete Alonso, what ended up happening was he took the ball. You could tell the guy just wasn't even thinking about it, but he took the ball and he just hucked it into the stands. I saw the funniest, oh my God, like people were making so many jokes about this incident. I saw the absolute funniest just meme clip. Someone took the Trevor Bauer clip from back in, 2019 when he was with the Indians, and when he took the ball in Kansas City and he threw it out to center field or whatever, and they said that was going to be Pete Alonso when Clayton Kershaw gets his 3,000th strikeout. I died laughing at that. I lost it. It was the funniest thing I think I'd ever seen. So anyway, Pete Alonso, I know a lot of people like to rag on Pete Alonso. I don't know what where is it? Is it the meditating that Pete Alonso's done with the home run derby? Is it, I don't know, is that what it is that people just dislike Pete Alonso? I don't know. But here's what ended up happening. He felt really bad about it. I don't think he did it on purpose. I think the guy was just in la la land, trust me. I know a thing or two about being in la la land. Trust me. My potato brain. It's all over the place. But Pete Alonso sent Mason Wynn a bottle of Don Julio 1942 tequila. I don't know. Is this weird? Is this next part weird? He also sent him an autographed bat. Had a personalized message in it, probably, apologizing for the whole thing. But I don't know, is this part weird? You threw the guy's ball, his first hit, into the stands. Also, did they retrieve the ball? I guess they didn't get the ball back. I guess I guess not. Anyway, so he sent him a bat that he autographed. I don't know. It just feels weird to me. I know players will do that. Obviously, Pete Alonso was a name. Did they get the ball? Okay, they got the ball. All right. Okay, cool. Thank you for letting me know. I wasn't sure if they got the ball back. So at least he got the ball. And anyway, I don't know. Let me know what you think in the chat. Do you think it's weird that he gave him an autographed bat? Do you think it's fine? I know players do this for other players, but I wonder if the timing was right. I don't know. I'm sure Mason Wynn loved it. Anyway, but he ended up going on to say, he said this was just as a, hey, hope you have a great career. Sorry about last night. My mistake. Wish you well. Yeah, Quan. Yeah, man. Yeah, you would. I mean, my goodness, if I can get an autographed bat, that would be amazing. That'd be amazing. What is this saying? Pashizzle. Oh, you know what? That is the ticker for yesterday's game. Let me fix that real quick. I can fix that. Okay. So, hey, I'm getting used to this new feature. I got to make sure I'm updating it. So, let me get that real quick. That is an easy fix. Easy fix. 1 second here. Okay. That is an easy fix. There we go. Okay. Is that correct? I don't know. Doesn't seem to be. 1 second. Here we go. Okay, I got it now. Technical difficulties. I got to get used to using this. Okay, that should be good now. That should be good. Let's go back to the screen. Let's do this. Okay, we were looking at that. And sharing the screen. Okay, let's make sure. Let's see if that's updated. Let's make sure. I think it should be good. Yeah, that looks updated now. Okay, cool. So those are today's scores. I apologize for that. Apologize. So, but back to this. Thank you for letting me know. I didn't realize that those are yesterday's score or 2 days ago. I apologize. But hey, Pete Alonso, hey, nice gesture from him. I'm glad he ended up, he went out of his way to make something happen. I would feel terrible if I did that. I know for a fact I would do something like that. Like, I would never mean to do something like that, but my goodness, like my potato brain, I would totally do something like that. Anyway, back to it. At number 23, we got the Detroit Tigers. They won their first 2 out of 3 against Cleveland. Did they win? I can't remember if they won today. Anyway, but they split with the Twins earlier in the week. Torkelson's been hot over the last 7 games. He's hitting .318, a .344 on base, a .955 slugging, 4 homers, 6 RBIs in his last 7 games. Torkelson's killing it, man. Carpenter's hitting well lately as well. Eric Haas, he got DFA'd. Eric Haas, man. He's been with the Tigers for quite a bit. So let's see what ends up happening with him. Speaking of the Cardinals and Mason Wynn, they come in at number 22. Like I said, Mason Wynn debuted. He was killing it in the minors. And they have another debut coming up tomorrow. Drew Rom will be making his debut. Remember, with Drew Rom, he came over in the Jack Flaherty trade from the Orioles. He's now the number 15 prospect in their system. So, hey, the Cardinals... Hey, they're doing exactly what they need to do. They need to get these young guys up to the major leagues. They need to start looking towards next year. They need to see what they have in the minor leagues. I think the Cardinals are playing the end of their season perfectly. O'Neill, Walker, they've been hitting well lately, so those are good signs. Dylan Carlson might be getting ankle surgery, so be on the lookout for that. Hey, that guy has not had himself a good year. It's been a couple of years now, so let's see what he ends up doing, and who knows, maybe that can get him back on the right track. Last but not least, in the bottom tier, we have the Guardians coming in at number 21. Not a whole lot with the Guardians, honestly. I feel like every week they're in this spot. I think on average, the 21st spot has been their most, the spot they've been in the most. So, I don't know. It's just kind of what they are. Like, they're not like one of the bottom feeders, but they're just a below average team. They've been getting good pitching from Gavin Williams, Bibby, Allen. So in the end, I mean, there's just not really a whole lot going on with the Cardinals or the Guardians. Sorry. Anyway, that's all we have for the bottom 10. Let's move on. Getting into the next tier. And, I see a lot of you in the chat. Zach G. Robbie being real generous to the Yankees. Maybe I am. Maybe it's just all the years, all the battles that we've had with the Yankees. I mean, maybe I am being a little biased towards the Yankees, but I have them at 20. Are the Guardians a better team than the Yankees? Are the Cardinals a better team? Are the Mets a better team? I mean, I think you could make the argument. But right now, the Yankees, I don't see them getting... Unless they get hot, I don't really see them moving higher than this spot. I really don't. It's funny because I remember, what was it? Like a month and a half ago, maybe even a couple of months ago, right around the All-Star break, I remember I was doing my, every time I do my power rankings, I go on my Excel spreadsheet, I type in some stats, and then I basically have like a formula for my power rankings, and then I also use like a personal feel as well. But the Yankees, I feel like over the last month and a half, they have been ranked in the bottom 10 on my spreadsheet. And even though I've had them around, 14, 15, 16 for the most part, remember in the early going, they were in the top 10 at one point. But they were always getting ranked in the bottom 10 despite them having a better record than what they were actually doing when it came to the stats. And it seems to me that, when I was, you can look at it from the other way around too. Teams like the Mariners and the Blue Jays were always really high on my when it came to when I plugged in the numbers and whatnot. But their records weren't really showing for it. The Yankees, on the other hand, were the opposite, where, just they had a better record than what they actually were, and it's finally caught up to them. And the Yankees, I just did a video about this. Pretty much, if you want me to go into detail of what I think what is going on with the Yankees, go check out that video. I basically did like 15 minutes of just kind of recapping what I think has been the problem with the Yankees going back to like 2018, 2017, right? So I went through a lot of it, bad trades, bad free agent signings, lack of free agent signings, lack of trades. Here, I was kind of thinking about this more today. I didn't say this in the video, but basically, it feels like the Yankees, this is how I feel like that they've been over the last, 4 or 5 years. They hesitate on a move. They hesitate on a player. For example, Luis Castillo, right? They were supposedly the front runner for Luis Castillo. They didn't pull the trigger. And then they go get Frankie Montas, and then it comes back and bites them. Carlos Rodon, right? How many years now, have I been saying, since the beginning of this channel, the Yankees needed a number 2 guy. And it took them until this past offseason to get it, right? They could have had Kevin Gausman. You could have had Verlander. You could have went after Eduardo Rodriguez. You could have went after Marcus Stroman. And you didn't go after any of these guys. You hesitated, and then you settle on Carlos Rodon, who has a terrible track record of injuries. And it's weird, how they hesitate, and then they try to make up for it. That's how Brian Cashman has been with his moves. Or you could even look at the Stanton trade, where it almost makes me wonder, did he sort of have this change of heart after the Stanton move? Because after Stanton, if they had just waited one offseason, they could have went after Bryce Harper or Manny Machado. If they had just not done the Stanton trade, they could have gone after Harper or Machado. And I think, obviously, either of those players, I think, would have been better for the Yankees over the last 5 years. Stanton has been full of injuries, up and down numbers. I think any Yankee fan in hindsight right now, maybe even going back to that time, would much rather have Bryce Harper instead of Giancarlo Stanton. So it makes me wonder, did Brian Cashman kind of think back to that move, and maybe that's why he hesitates on a lot of moves? I don't know. It's interesting. But that's basically what's been going on with the Yankees when it comes to their transactions. That's what it feels like anyway. This past week, we had some reports from minor leaguers, saying that the player development is kind of a joke, how they're just playing games, and the way to get points is if you hit a ball more than 95 miles an hour, or if you get a walk, and if you strike out, you don't even lose points. It's just weird. They focus on certain analytics that seem to not really help them achieve championship caliber success, right? They were a Final Four team last year, right? But it wasn't good enough. Right? You got plowed by the Astros. Anyway, I could talk about this for a while. I'm not going to. So if you want to see my thoughts, go check out the video that I posted yesterday on the Yankees. But hey, they've lost 8 straight. They're done. They're so far back in the standings now. 9 games back in the standings now. Actually, I think I have another feature. Do I have another feature here? Ooh, I do. I do have another feature. Okay, I don't have the microphone ready. But so I got standings now. And hey, we got live stuff now implemented into these streams. So as you just saw with the standings, the Yankees are way out of it now. Just completely out of it. It's kind of weird to see that the Yankees are just completely out of contention. So Aaron Boone, he met with the front office in the past few days, and the front office supposedly is, well, not supposedly, of course they are. They're very frustrated. You know, I mean, of course they're frustrated, but it's like, but you did this to yourself. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, that you all know what's going on with the Yankees. They come in at number 20 for me. Moving on. At number 19, we got the Angels. Feels like we don't hear a lot about the Angels now because if everyone's pretty much just given up on them at this point. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Rangers this week, 2 out of 3 to the Rays. They give up 18 runs to the Rays in game 2 of a doubleheader this weekend. Ohtani is hitting well, 320, 393, 720 over his last 7, 3 homers, 6 RBIs, taking a break from the pitching side of things. There's not really much going on with the Angels, you know. 2 franchises, Angels and Yankees, as well as the Padres. I mean, wow. You know, I am so interested to see how these off seasons go with the Padres, with the Angels, with the Yankees. I am so intrigued what they do, right? Because the Padres, they got a ton of pieces. The Angels, obviously Ohtani, they have other pieces as well. Do the Yankees actually move on from Brian Cashman? I think they should. Honestly, I think they need a new direction. Will they, though? Hal Steinbrenner, Brian Cashman, they're pals. They've been close for a while. I think it's either you get rid of Brian Cashman or you need, as Hal Steinbrenner, you need to step in here and say, listen, we're taking this franchise in a new direction. So I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see what they end up doing. The Padres as well. They had an up and down week. They won 2 out of 3 against Baltimore, but then they lost 3 out of 4 against the Diamondbacks. They're 5.5 back in the wild card now. Machado had a couple of home runs against the Diamondbacks in a game, but in the end, not a good weekend for the Padres. Tatis, Cronenworth, they've been hitting well. Michael Walker returned from the IL, 5 innings, 3 hits, 0 earned runs. Michael Walker is having a good season with the Padres. In 16 starts, he's 9-2 with a 2.68 ERA and a 3.65 FIP. So, you know, Walker, you know, he's the last couple of seasons he's been spending time on the IL, but he's had some really good numbers. Coming in next at number 17, we got the Marlins. Not a good week for the Marlins. They're slipping here, losing 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers and the Astros this week. Eury Perez, 10 strikeouts against the Dodgers in a loss, but he is the first pitcher 20 years old or younger since Felix Hernandez to have double-digit strikeouts. So, just saying, Eury Perez, that guy's the real deal. Moving on to number 16, we got the Diamondbacks winning 2 out of 3 against the Rockies, 3 out of 4 against the Padres, like I mentioned. I believe now, let me just make sure. Let me see here. Just checking the standings. This is why I got to get the standings updated. Got to get the standings here. Do I have the wild card? Ooh, I do got the wild card. Ooh, I'm going to do something here real quick. Here we go. Because I want to pull up the standings. So, hold on 1 second for me, everyone. So, let's do this. Let's do standings. Let's do NL wild card. Perfect. Oh, we got a super chat coming in. Perfect timing, my friend. Perfect timing. Zach G with a $10 super chat. Hey, Robbie, as explained in your video, which everyone should watch, the Yankees have so many failures. Stanton, Donaldson, Rodon. Cashman won't get fired. He's family to Hal. Hal doesn't care enough to change. Could we be stunned this offseason? I think it would be stunning if Cashman were to be let go or if he were to resign. Maybe Cashman just ends up resigning Maybe he just ends up retiring. I don't know. It's possible. But I think the Yankees, they need to do something different. No matter what, they need to take a different approach. Whoever is in that seat, the organization as a whole needs a different approach. That is very, very evident. So it doesn't matter who you're going to have in that seat. What is the philosophy of the organization? They all need to sit down and they need to have a what is that? What's the term that you call it, where you pretty much look in the mirror and you just say, okay, we're not doing something right here. We need to do something different. So, all right, 1 second here. I just want to do this. Okay, microphone is working here. All right, so let's go take a look here at the NL wildcard race. Here we go. All righty, looking at the standings. All righty, so as of right now, the Phillies are in the first wild card spot. The Giants are in the second wild card spot. And the Cubs are in the third wild card spot. So the Diamondbacks, they are a game out. The Reds are a game out. The Marlins are a game out. So we got a pretty tight race here in this wild card race. Pretty exciting. And the Padres, I mean, they're not, I don't know. I think you got to say the Padres are done. They got to be done here because you're 6 out. Sure, we've seen teams climb back into it, 6 out, 5 out. But when you got to hop over 3 other teams as well as, the team in the wild card spot, it's not looking great. So I do think we're going to see a battle for this third wild card spot. The Cubs right now, they're holding on to it, but the Diamondbacks are heating up. So let's actually get back here to the Diamondbacks. They had a good week. They won 2 out of 3 against the Rockies, 3 out of 4 against the Padres. They had a really good offense this past week. Christian Walker, man, this guy's having a great year. Awesome year for Christian Walker. In the last 7 games, he's hitting .385 with a .500 on base and .885 slugging, 4 homers, 11 RBIs. Overall on the year, Christian Walker, he's hitting .274 with a .351 on base, and he has an .886 OPS, 28 homers, 84 RBIs. Christian Walker, man, what a year for him. Gabriel Moreno, he's hitting well lately over his last 15, hitting .300 with a .364 on base and a .575 slugging. So, hey, Diamondbacks, their bats are waking up. They got some good pitching there. You got some decent arms in the bullpen. I like that offense. They were slumping there for a while. But I think this Diamondbacks team, I personally had them getting the third wild card in my preseason predictions. A lot of my preseason predictions are not looking very good. But I was very confident about the Diamondbacks. So I do think overall, though, we're going to see a battle for that third wild card spot. Here we go. At number 15, we got the Cincinnati Reds. Not anything crazy. Honestly, I feel like I might actually put the Diamondbacks ahead of the Reds. I think I was supposed to I think I should put the Diamondbacks ahead of the Reds. I like the way the Diamondbacks are playing. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to make that change. So let's make that change here. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Yeah, I'm moving the Diamondbacks up a little bit. There we go. Let's put the Diamondbacks there. Let's move the Reds. What is going on here? Come on. And the Reds, I'm going to put down to 16. Yeah, the Diamondbacks, they're playing good baseball lately. So I'm moving the Diamondbacks up. But for the Reds, wow. Hunter Green had a start today. And I don't mean that in a good way. Whoa, did anyone see Hunter Green's start today? He just came back from the IL, so I'll give him a little bit of a break. But whoa, he got wrecked. R-E-K-T, got wrecked. 3 innings, 10 hits, 8 earned runs, 5 home runs off of Hunter Green today. Wow. Unbelievable. Like, that's crazy. But The Blue Jays, they were hitting home runs all over the place. Noelvi Marte, he got called up. So some good news for the Reds. Over AA and AAA this year. He's hitting .279 with a .358 on base. He has 11 homers, 45 RBIs, 18 stolen bases. Remember, they got Noelvi Marte in the Luis Castillo trade. So I love all these prospects getting called up lately. Got Nolan Shanwell. Oh, that was something for the Angels. I forgot to mention him for the Angels. Nolan Shanwell getting called up. You know, I've been saying here, or I've been seeing a lot of people saying that the Angels are desperate. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really see it as a desperation move. I mean, sure, maybe they think, okay, he can give us something with the bat. This guy has been killing it in the minor leagues, but his bat was already, according to scouts, very close to major league ready. That was the one thing about him when it came to all the scouting reports, was his bat was way more ahead than, you know, other bats in this draft. You know, does he have a higher ceiling than like a Dylan Cruz? Probably not, but his floor is very high, right? So I don't see the Nolan Shanwell move being really like a desperation move. I think it's more just, why not just put him in the major leagues? If honestly, I could see it as the Angels are pretty much waving the white flag. You know, hey, let's just give this guy some time in the major leagues. You know, yeah, sure. You know, could they use another bat? Yeah. But why not give him the time? I didn't see it as a desperation move, honestly. But number 14, let's get to my Red Sox. A couple weeks ago, I talked about my Red Sox for 20 minutes. I promise I will not do that again. But up and down week for the Red Sox overall. They lost 2 out of 3 of the Nationals, but then they sweep the Yankees over this weekend. They are 3 games back in the wild card. So let's actually pull the standings back up here. And let's go check out the AL wild card race. We will go back to this a couple of times, but let's take a look here. So right now, the Red Sox, they are 3 games back. Toronto now has slipped to half a game back. So, you know, it's not impossible for the Red Sox to get into this. I just wonder, it seems like the Red Sox are on a pace to, you know, finish 85, 86 wins, 87. Will that be good enough? I don't know if it's going to be good enough. But you know what? They're playing good baseball. It is up and down lately, but, you know, hey, I'll give them a little bit of credit here. Going to Yankee Stadium, taking advantage of just a Yankee team that is just spiraling. You know, Justin Turner, the king of the Gingers, my favorite Ginger of all time, coming up big today. Gotta love that. Over the last 7 games, 9th in WRC plus for the Red Sox. Rafael Devers has been red hot over his last 7 games. He's hitting .480 with a .567 on base and .880 slugging, 3 homers, 6 RBIs. Rafael Devers is red hot. Pablo Reyes, can we give this guy some credit, man? Pablo Reyes has been awesome. He had a big home run against the Nationals until Kyber Ruiz came up and just completely ruined all my hopes and dreams. But Pablo Reyes this year, he's been huge for the Red Sox, hitting .322 with a .362 on base, a .441 slugging, a .117 WRC plus. Tanner Houck, he's coming back soon. That's great to see. That's going to help. Could use all the pitching we can get. But hey, for the Red Sox, they're not completely out of it. It's going to be tough for the Red Sox to be able to get one of those wild card spots, especially with the way the Mariners are playing. I did have the Red Sox getting a wild card spot. I went bold. I went the Draftnik Robbie route in the preseason. I don't know if it's going to be quite there, though. I don't know. Could my Red Sox win the World Series next year, though? I don't know. Oh, man. Could you imagine if in my preseason picks for next year, do you know how many people I'm going to lose as subscribers if I pick the Red Sox to win the World Series next year? It's like, I feel like I can't do it. I feel like I'm not allowed because, with, you know, Draftnik Mark always picking the Mets early on in his channel. I can't pick the Red Sox. If I do, everyone's going to unsubscribe. And it's like, oh, here's Draftnik Robbie. Anyway, number 13, we got the Twins. I need to say this about the Twins. Frank Ryan, $1.99. Rafaela time if Duran is hurt. Oh, that was another thing too. Jarren Duran. Hopefully he's going to be fine. I hope. But Ceddanne Rafaela. I would be all right with that. I definitely think that's a possibility. Definitely think so. So let's either way, even if Duran's fine, I want to see Rafael up in the bigs. I want to see it. Thank you for the super chat. At number 13, we have the Twins. Hey, not a bad week for the Twins, winning 2 out of 3 against the Pirates, splitting with the Tigers. Good offense lately. 5th in WRC plus over the last 7. Polanco, Julian, they've been hitting well. Pablo Lopez, he's pitching his hiney off, man. That guy is, wow, really good lately. Over his last 21 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. Pablo Lopez, man. Everyone was talking about Luis Ariz. But Pablo Lopez, he's awesome. He is awesome. But this was a story I found very interesting. That Byron Buxton, he's going to be coming off the IL soon. They are considering putting him in the outfield. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Twins, the Twins front office. Have you not learned your lesson? This guy can't even walk down the road without breaking his leg. I'm just saying. I understand he's been a bit more, he's been a bit aggressive on the base paths this year. You know, yeah, he's on the IL now with a hamstring issue. But, oh my God, I don't know, man. I would be very hesitant putting him back out in the field. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Byron Buxton, would you put him back in the outfield? I'm just saying. At number 12, we got the Giants. Lost their series to the Braves this weekend, losing 2 out of 3 to the Rays. The Giants are not playing amazing baseball lately. Their offense is slumping. 28th in WRC plus over the last 7. I mean, you know, Matos had 2 home runs today, or not 2 home runs today. He hit his 2nd home run today, so that was nice. Michael Conforto's hitting well over the last 7, hitting 478. A 556 on base, a 783 slugging, 2 home runs over his last 7. But the rest of the offense as a whole is slumping. The starting pitching has been pretty good for them over the last 7 games. Logan Webb, he did have 4 earned against the Braves in his last start, but 6 earned runs overall in his last 3 starts. So Logan Webb, I love Logan Webb. Kyle Harrison, he's being promoted. Kyle Harrison, one of the top prospects for the Giants, top pitching prospect. He's going to get the start against the Phillies on Tuesday. He's had an up and down year in the minor leagues. He went through a stretch where he was giving up a lot of runs. Overall, in the minors this year, 20 starts, a 4.66 ERA, and 14 strikeouts per 9. The walks are a little high for Kyle Harrison, but he's striking out a lot of guys. So let's see. Let's see what he can do. Like I said earlier when we looked at the standings, the Giants are hanging on to a wild card spot right now. So at number 11, Cubs fans, where are you at? Where are the Cubs fans? I mean, they were supposed to be leading the division. What is going on here? Let's actually go take a look at the NL Central. Here we go. So right now, the Cubs, they are 3 games back. 3 games back of the Brewers. We'll get to the Brewers here in just a little bit. But the Cubbies, hey, you know, they were red hot there for a little bit, but they have cooled off slightly. But some bad news for the Chicago Cubs. Marcus Stroman, there is no timetable for his return. He had something happen with his rib cage, I guess the cartilage or something there. He has like a fracture or something. I've never heard of a cartilage being fractured in a rib cage. That's a first for me. I haven't heard that one before. But that's a huge blow to the Cubs. Huge blow. And you got the Diamondbacks heating up. The Marlins are right there. The Reds are right there. So I don't know, man. That's a tough blow. Horner, Bellinger, they've been hitting well lately, but I'm a little worried about the Cubs. Hey, we'll have to see if they can make it without Stroman. Again, there's no timetable for his return, so they need him. They definitely need him. So here we go, everyone. Moving on to the top 10. If you can, everyone, if you can. We're almost at 500 people in this chat. The goal for likes tonight, I always set it at 100 to start things off. We're at 127, so if you can help us get to 200, I will be a happy boy. I would love that. But if you are new to the channel, think about subscribing down below. Make sure you hit that bell notification and share the stream if you can. Here we go, everyone. Here we go. So, moving on to the top 10. Moving on. Let me just make sure I got everything in place here. Okay. Moving on to the top 10. We're going to be starting off here with the Milwaukee Brewers in first place in that Central Division. Not a great week for the Brewers, honestly. I mean, not a bad week. They did win 2 out of 3 against the Rangers, but they got swept by the Dodgers. So, oh, wait, hold on. Where are the Brewers? There we go. So the Brewers at number 10. Up and down week. I will say, though, Freddie Peralta, holy cow. Does anyone see the run that Freddie Peralta's on? He is going crazy lately. Over his last 5 starts, Freddie Peralta is 4-0, has 30 2/3 innings pitched, a 1.49 ERA, and 50 strikeouts. 50 strikeouts over his last 30 2/3 innings. Freddie Peralta is going crazy. Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff, they've been decent lately. But the problem with the Brewers, it's always the offense with them. They're 24th in WRC plus over the last 7. Carlos Santana's swinging a hot bat lately. So let's see if this offense can pick it up, man. You know, the Brewers, they're just such a weird team. You know, like they play good fundamental baseball. They don't have a lot of firepower in that offense, but they do enough to get the wins. They pitch enough to get the wins. I do wonder, you know, I don't know. Oh, did they? Oh, shoot. What? You're right. Sorry about that, everyone. Ronald Decker, John, you're right. I'm sorry. They swept the Rangers. I apologize. I made a typo. They swept the Rangers. Anyway, but yeah, like I said, up and down week for the Brewers. Again, good fundamental team. They pitch enough. They hit enough. I don't know how they're going to be in the playoffs. You know, like, I don't know. I just don't know how they're going to be. Like, I wonder, when you look at the numbers, they don't stack up very well with the other teams. But I just wondered, is this Brewers team going to be one of those playoff teams that should lose and they find a way to get through? You know, I wonder about that with the Brewers. You know, like, no one's going to pick them. And I wonder if they just find a way to, you know, to make it to that NLCS. Like, could they maybe have an upset? I don't know. They kind of give me that vibe a little bit. The more, because I've been hating on the Brewers this year. I will be fully open about that. Like, I will, you know, hey, I've definitely said given my 2 cents about the Brewers, because they don't have a very good offense in the rankings when it comes to, you know, WRC plus and just overall offense. The pitching, it's been better lately, but it hasn't been, you know, like a top pitching staff in the game. It's not like that usual Brewers pitching staff that we're used to seeing. You know, bullpen has been up and down. You know, like, I don't know. I just wonder if they're going to be like that weird team that kind of shocks you in the playoffs. I just wonder. But hey, they're playing good baseball lately. They're hanging on to first place. At number 9, we have the Phillies, just losing their series to the Nationals this past weekend. They split with the Blue Jays earlier this past week. They are hitting the ball lately. 7th in WRC plus over the last 7. Trey Turner actually made a bit of history the other day. Or was that Saturday? Was that yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Hit 2 home runs off Andrew Abbott in the same inning. That was pretty cool. You know who did that last time? I'm going to do some trivia. Does anyone know who the last person was to hit 2 home runs in an inning off the same pitcher? Does anyone know? Let's see if the answer comes up. 2 home runs in the same inning off the same picture. It's tough. It's tough. Nope. Nope. I'm seeing Tatis. Nope. It was David Ortiz. It was David Ortiz back in 2008 off of Scott Feldman. 2008 off of Scott Feldman. So, Big Papi. Big Papi, the last guy to do it. But, Trey Turner. Hey, the bat's coming alive. Bat's coming alive. Going back to 2008, David Ortiz, those 2 home runs that he hit off of Scott Feldman were both 3-run home runs. Does anyone remember that game with the Red Sox and the Rangers in 2008? That final score was 19-17. Does anyone remember that game? I will always remember that game because I remember the Red Sox where they blew the doors open in that game, and then the Rangers just started just getting run after run after run. That was a crazy game. Crazy game. But as for the Phillies, Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, Jake Cave, they've been hitting well. Kyle Schwarber, a couple of homers this week. Like I said, Trey Turner, he's been heating up lately. Starting pitching has been really good for the Phillies this year. Very good. Wheeler, Sanchez, Suarez, they've been pitching well. Aaron Nola, Lorenzen, they've got hit around this past week. So, Nola this year, man, he has got to get it together. He's got to get it together, man. You got like a month and a half until the playoffs, man. You got to get him right. The Phillies, I think, have a good chance to get back to the World Series. I really do. So, I'm just saying. At number 8, we got the Blue Jays. So, I just mentioned them earlier with the Reds. They were just going crazy today. 5 home runs. Varsho, he's been hot lately, hitting .333 with a .462 on base, a .714 slugging over his last 7. Bo Bichette's back. He homered today. Vlad Jr., he did leave the game today with finger discomfort. So hopefully that doesn't turn into anything. But for the Blue Jays, they won 2 out of 3 against the Reds. They split with the Phillies. So starting pitching has been good for the Blue Jays lately. 2.57 ERA and a 3.27 FIP over the last 7. Hyun-Jin Ryu, Kikuchi, those guys are pitching great. The bullpen, a 2.63 ERA over the last 7. So, hey, the Blue Jays, they're playing pretty good baseball. And they look like they're coming back to full strength, right? You got Bichette back. Everyone's homering. So, that last spot for the wild card, I'm going to go back to it one more time. So let me actually pull this up here. So let's go back to the wild card. This is going to be a great finish. Great finish for this third wild card spot. Who knows? Could maybe the Astros fall out of it? Could maybe the Rays just go on an epic slump? Maybe they could fall out of it. I think this is going to be a really interesting finish for the wild card. So I don't expect my Red Sox to get into this. I think they could make it interesting, but I think it's going to be just a little too much for the Red Sox to get into it. But the Blue Jays, they're playing well. The Mariners are red hot, obviously. The Astros are slumping a little bit. I think it's going to be a very fun finish for this wild card. So, at number 7, speaking of the Astros, I got them at 7. They have been slumping a little bit. Just got swept by the Mariners. I think you could make an argument. Maybe the Blue Jays could go ahead of the Astros. I'll leave it like this for now. But the Astros did win 2 out of 3 against the Marlins, so they didn't have a terrible week overall. Starting pitching has not been very good over the last 7, 1-4, a 5.40 ERA, a 4.80 FIP. The offense has been pretty good. Bregman, Tucker, McCormick, Diaz, they've been hitting well. But for the Astros, kind of just an up and down week, At number 6, I'm going to be honest with all of you. I really thought about putting the Mariners at 5. I really did. I'm going to hold off. You all know me. I don't like to jump the gun too much. I thought about it here. Oh, I want to so bad. I do. I do. But I got to give, I got to give the Rangers their credit. They've been so good all year. Yeah, they had like one little stretch where they weren't very good. The Mariners are red hot lately, but I got to just give it another week. I know. I see you, the man Robert. I see you in the chat. Do it. I know. I want to do it, but I gotta hold off. Just another week. Remember, this happened with the Cubs. Remember all the Cubs fans were coming after me. Remember that week? Everyone was saying, you got to put the Cubs over the Brewers. They're going to take the division. And then what ended up happening? The Cubs ended up, now they're 3 games back in the division. So, I'm just saying. Got to hold off. If the Mariners are that good, they will catch the Rangers very soon. But let's talk about the Mariners. And let's take a look at that West. So, that's the NL West. Here we go. Nope. What am I doing here? Oh, my goodness. There we go. So, as of right now, the Rangers, they're holding on to first place. The Astros, 2.5 back. The Mariners are 3 back. They could totally catch them. With how hot they are, they could absolutely catch them. I think the Mariners could win this division. I really do. Listen, they've had this in them. They've had this in them. Jimmy Productions, $4.99 super chat. $4.99 super chat. Robbie, stop hating on the Nationals. We should be ahead of the Mets and the Cardinals in the power rankings. We might make it to the playoffs this year. No, they're not making it to the playoffs this year. Next year. Maybe next year. Listen, I could see the argument for being ahead of the Mets. I still think the Cardinals are a better team than the Nationals. I don't know. I'm not ready to put the Nationals above either of those teams yet. Just yet. Listen, hey, they took it to my Red Sox. Kyber Ruiz, man, he demolished a baseball. Stone Garrett, he's awesome. Hey, no hate from the Nationals for me. I mean, I'm a big fan. I think they could be a surprise team next year. But let's talk to Mariners here. I know everyone's waiting for the Mariners. We got to start off with Julio Rodriguez. Look at these numbers. Over the last 7 games, he is hitting .568 with a .579 on base, .838 slugging, 2 homers, 12 RBIs. Over his last 15 games, he's hitting .465, a .500 on base, a .761 slugging. Over his last 30 games, he's hitting .360, a .404 on base, a .625 slugging. This guy's off the charts. I mean, my goodness, Julio Rodriguez, he made history the other day. 17 hits in a 4-game stretch. That's a lot of hits. That's actually the most ever in a 4-game stretch. Over that stretch, he went 17 for 22. The previous record was set by Milt Stock in 1925. He had 16 over a 4-game stretch. Julio Rodriguez right now is just, my goodness. I mean, it's funny because how hot he is, when you look at the overall numbers, now they're starting to look pretty decent. But remember, he got off to the really slow start. Imagine if he even just did a little bit better than what he was doing in the first couple of months. Imagine how good these numbers would look. He would have probably almost 30 home runs. He would have almost 90 RBIs. The stolen bases are very good. But this stat line isn't really showing what he's been doing lately. It is just nasty what he's doing lately. Jack M, how you doing? And we get JP and Kelnick back soon. We're coming for the division. Felt so good to sweep the Stros, especially after Framber threw at Caballero. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're a Mariners fan right now, and it's not just that you swept the Astros, you swept the defending champs. You swept the team that beat you in the playoffs last year. The hype is real right now. The hype is real for the Mariners. Listen, I just mentioned this earlier. in my, like, you know, formula that I do for my power rankings, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say it's the best formula out there. I don't know. It's just my little numbers that I like to put in. It doesn't mean anything. But the Mariners were always, even throughout the entire year, when, you know, they were, you know, 5-6 games out, they were a top 10 team according to the numbers. But the wins just weren't reflecting, right? So I'm not surprised to see them in this spot. The only thing they needed was for the offense to wake up. The pitching has been good all year. Starting pitching has been just amazing all year. Bullpen has been great all year. Still good, even without Paul Sewald. I'm just saying, the Mariners are great. They just needed that offense to catch up. And now that the offense has woken up, listen. I think this is a World Series team. I really do. I'm not just saying that because they're hot. I've been saying this about the Mariners all year. It's a good team. Great pitching. I don't want to go up against Luis Castillo and George Kirby and Logan Gilbert with Bryce Miller and Brian Wu. I wouldn't want to go up against those guys. The Mariners are a World Series caliber team. I'm just saying, they have the team to get through the American League. The American League, to me, is pretty wide open. I don't think they're, you know, sure, you got the Rangers, you got the Orioles, you got the Rays. The Mariners can beat the Orioles. When you match up the pitching staffs, the Mariners can definitely outpitch the Orioles. The Rangers, I think, will be tough. They are not playing well against the Rangers this year. They're 1-5. So that would be pretty tough. And you would have some pretty decent pitching matchups there. You know, Scherzer, despite today, has looked better with the Rangers. Scherzer against Castillo. You could have Eovaldi against Kirby. You know, Dane Dunning, if you wanted to go, or Jordan Montgomery against Logan Gilbert. I think that'd be a really close series. I think they could beat them. You know, I'm just saying, I think the Mariners could beat the Rangers if their offense is what it is, and it's here and it's arrived. Then yeah, I think this Mariners team could take on that offense with the Rangers. I think they could. Yeah. You know, I see you guys. Giga Chad poster. Orioles own the Mariners. That's the regular season. I don't care. Do you know how many times I've seen a team so bad against another team in the regular season, and then they end up beating them in the playoffs? Do you know how many times I've seen that? It's like it's a lazy argument. Like, you can't do that. Like, oh, this team has owned this team all year. Of course they're going to beat them in the playoffs. Do you know how many times we've seen the opposite? It's a lazy argument. Can't do that. But I think the Mariners are a World Series caliber team. You know, and that's not just based off of how hot they are. I've thought about this, you know, with the Mariners this entire year. Coming into this year, I thought the Mariners were a really good team. But the offense was just slumping. And it seems like they got it together. So that's pretty scary. That's pretty scary. Other than Julio Rodriguez, Eugenio Suarez, 2-run homer today. Teoscar Hernandez has been hot lately. That's another key. You know, everyone's looking at Julio Rodriguez, but Teoscar Hernandez is a guy that has really had a down year, but lately he's hitting well. Over the last 7, hitting .444, 467 on base, a 741 slugging. Ty France, Caballero, they've been hitting well. Starting pitching has been awesome all year. Bryce Miller, he looked good against the Astros the other day. Went into the 7th inning, 2 hits allowed. Castillo, Gilbert, they picked up wins against the Astros and the Royals. Bryce Wu, he's returning this week. Or not Bryce Wu, sorry. Brian Wu returning this week. Things are looking really good. Overall, they are, like we just looked at the standings, they're 3 games back in the West. They are 7-2 against the Astros this year. So if there was like any kind of a tiebreaker, they do have the tiebreaker against the Astros. However, they're only 1-5 against the Rangers. So that is, you know, that could be something if they end up tying the Rangers, but they do have 7 more games against the Rangers left. So it's not over yet. This West is far from over. Speaking of the Rangers, I know Mariners fans, I know I'm killing you here. I'm killing you here. I'm going Rangers at number 5. We have Oscar Cervantes has become a member. Thank you, Oscar. Greatly appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. Listen, I was so close to putting the Mariners at number 5. I really was. I thought, could I do a bit of like a hot take here? But you know what? I'm going to stick to my usual plan. I'm going to give it another week. If the Mariners outperform the Rangers this week, they move within maybe a game in the division, I'll put the Mariners ahead. Yeah. I think if the Mariners move within a game of the Rangers, I do think at that point it's only a matter of time before the Mariners overtake them in the division. I'm going to hold off on pulling the trigger of putting the Mariners ahead of the Rangers for right now. I got to give credit to the Rangers. They've had a good season all year. The Mariners have only recently, over the last month, really turned it on. The Rangers have just been, they've been here all year, so I'm going to give the Rangers their respect. They've won 2 out of 3 against the Angels. Again, they were swept by the Brewers. I mentioned that earlier. So that's where I was like, okay, they got swept. But one more week. Second in WRC plus on the year. But lately, the offense is not as hot as they've been all year. 19th in WRC plus over the last 7. But the starting pitching has been really good over the last 7 games. Scherzer passed Phil Niekro on the all-time strikeout list. He looks like a new man ever since going to the Rangers, teaming back up with Maddox. I think that's exactly what he needed. Yeah, he wasn't like a great this weekend, but he looks way better since going back to the Rangers. Jordan Montgomery, John Gray, they've been looking good. Dane Dunning looked okay against the Brewers. Nathan Eovaldi threw a bullpen session this weekend. He should be back pretty soon. It looks like he's going to be back before the end of the month, so that's going to be big for them. Bullpen needs to pick it up, though. Over the last 7 games for the Rangers, they have a 6.16 ERA and a 5.48 FIP for their relief pitching. So the bullpen really needs to pick it up. Jimmy Productions, hot take, $1.99. Giants beat the Dodgers in the playoffs. I mean, why not? Why not? The Dodgers always seem to find a way to lose in the playoffs. Why couldn't they? The Padres beat them last year. Why couldn't the Giants do it? Why not? Why not? We'll see. But the Rangers, they're on thin ice of falling out of the top 5. They fell out of the top 5 recently. I put them down at number 7 at one point. But now they're in danger again of falling out of the top 5. At number 4, we got the Rays. The big story with the Rays was Wander Franco. He's been placed on the restricted list. We haven't really heard any updates on that, so it is what it is. Obviously, awful situation. If those accusations do come true, it's a disgusting situation. It's awful. But at the end of the day, you got to wait for the investigation to be done. You have to wait for all the evidence. You have to wait for it, But obviously, it's a horrible situation. Again, if true, it's disgusting. 2 out of 3 against the Angels and the Giants. So the Rays did have a good week, even without Wander Franco. Their offense has been good without him. Over the last 7 games, they rank 2nd in WRC+. Josh Lowe, Diaz, Arozarena, Paredes, they're stepping up with the bats without Franco. So the Rays, they're playing pretty good baseball lately. I think they're kind of going under the radar just because everyone's focused on the Franco story. But the Rays are playing good baseball. So at number 3, we got a team moving down here. Got a team moving down. The Baltimore Orioles. They swept the A's. Did they finish the sweep? Let me just make sure. Did they finish the sweep? They'd won the first 2. I actually did not catch that. Yes. Okay. So they finished the sweep. But they lost 2 out of 3 to the Padres as well. The offense has been okay. Gunnar Henderson's hitting really well lately, having himself a good few games here. Over the last 7, he's hitting .320 with an .859 OPS. Starting pitching over the last 7 games, a 5.06 ERA. but a 3.70 FIP. So the starting pitching looks better than it does on paper, right? Irvin, Bradish, G-Rod, they've been pitching well. So, hey, those guys in the playoffs, hey, I know I said earlier, playoff series, yeah, I probably favor the Mariners if those guys ended up, locking horns. But the Orioles, they got, I make it sound like they have bad pitching. I don't think that. I don't think they have bad pitching. I just like other pitching staffs better, right? But, hey, just if a team has a better pitching staff, it doesn't mean, they're going to win, right? The Orioles, hey, I think they have enough talent in that pitching staff to make a run. Lots of prospects getting called up lately. Lots of prospects. But could we maybe see Jackson Holliday? I don't think so. But that would be pretty fun. That would be fun, man. Jackson Holliday, he is killing it in Double-A right now. He's been killing it. Hitting .350, a .431 on base, a .550 slugging, 3 homers, 13 RBIs in 25 games. I'm just saying, man, Jackson Holliday, I don't think he's going to come up. I think we're seeing a lot of prospects coming up right now, which is fun. I think Jackson Holliday is probably going to end up finishing out the year in the minor leagues. I don't see him coming up, but he is hitting really well. But for the Orioles, an up and down week. They do fall out of the number 2 spot, and the Dodgers have moved into the number 2 spot. 2 out of 3 against the Marlins. They sweep the Brewers. The offense overall the last 7 games has not been amazing as a whole, but Mookie freaking Betts. Can we look at Mookie Betts? I mean, come on. Why can't the Red Sox have a guy like Mookie Betts? What's going on here? Man, I want a guy like Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts is going crazy. Look at his last 7 games here. 481 average, 500 on base, 852 slugging. My goodness, he is red hot. Over the last 15, hitting .407 with a .462 on base, 729 slugging. He's been killing it. Mookie freaking Betts, man. Let's actually go take a look at the leaderboards. Where is Mookie Betts on the leaderboards? He's number 1. He's number 1. Just saying. Well, offensively, he is not number 1. But here's the difference. Mookie, he is playing better defense than Ronald Acuna, so he's higher on the Fangraph leaderboard. So when it comes to offense, Mookie Betts is 4th overall. When it comes to WRC+, he is 3rd overall. I do think it's going to be Acuna. I mean, come on. Like, Acuna is having just a ridiculous year. He's got the higher batting average. He has the higher on base. Has a slugging that's right near Mookie's. He's got a few less home runs than Mookie, but he's got 55 RBIs. Ronald Acuna Jr. is winning that MVP. He is winning that MVP. I'm sorry. It's just, yeah. I trust me. I would love for Mookie to win the MVP. I love Mookie. Wish the Red Sox could have a guy like that. But that's Ronald Acuna Jr.'s award. But Mookie Betts, man, he is absolutely nuts lately. Man. Pitching has been good. Lance Lynn, Urias, Miller, they've been pitching well over the last couple of weeks. Bullpen, they rank 2nd in Fangraph WAR over the last week. Dodgers are playing some great baseball right now. Playing great baseball. Actually, let's go take a look here at the... Let me go back to the standings. So, okay, that was the West. Let me go back to the wild card. So right now the Dodgers are the number 2 seed. So they would get a bye as of right now. So the playoffs started right now. The Dodgers would advance to the division round. So as of right now, you're looking at a wild card round of the Brewers and the Cubs. That'd be pretty fun. And you'd be seeing the Giants and the Phillies. So, and the Dodgers, if these ended up being the playoff seeds, then the Dodgers would either play the Brewers or the Cubs in the division round, right? And the Braves would either play the Giants or the Phillies. So, right now, if it ends up being this way, the Brewers, if they got by the wild card, I think the Brewers could be an interesting matchup for the Dodgers. Just have to wait and see what ends up happening. So, but everyone, where are we at with the likes? Where are we at? Oh, we're at 188. Oh, come on. We need 12 likes, everyone. Help us get to 200. But at number one, you all know who's number one. You all know. It's the Braves. They're red hot. They're red hot, man. 2 out of 3 against the Giants this week, sweeping the Yankees. 6 in WRC plus over the last 7. Eddie Rosario, he is red hot, hitting .458, a .519 slugging, a .519 on base, a .917 slugging, 3 homers, 10 RBIs. That guy's killing it. Marcell Ozuna, he's hot too. .435 average over the last 7 with a .536 on base, a .696 slugging, has a homer, 6 RBIs. Spencer Strider, Charlie Morton, they're pitching great. Matt Olson's hitting home runs all over the place. Bullpen ranks first in Fangraph WAR over the last 7. And actually, the Braves, they rank first in starting pitching over the last 7. So, the Braves, this was easy for me putting them at number 1. But those are my power rankings, everyone. Those are my power rankings. The biggest mover, obviously, are the Mariners moving into the number 6 spot. Very possible they could be in the top 5 next week. Let's see how they end up doing. The Orioles, a little sluggish this week. Can they get back on track? Can the Rays keep playing solid baseball? The Rangers, they were a little sluggish. Can they get back on track? You got some teams here in the second tier. Could the Red Sox end up turning it on? Maybe. The Diamondbacks, can they stay hot? The Giants, they've been slumping a little bit. Can they get back on track here? Could the Padres maybe make a miraculous run? I don't know. So you got some teams in the wild card races here. It's going to be fun here over the next month. But like I always say, we'll just have to wait and see how it all unfolds. Everyone, if you can, on the way out, hit that like button for me. Did we get to 200 likes? Did we get to 200 likes? We did. We got to 200 likes. Thank you, everyone. Subscribe if you are new. Hit the bell notification. That way you know I go live every single time. Share the screen as well. Everyone, please go check out Underdog Fantasy, a proud sponsor of the channel. Like I said, if we are to go full-time here with this channel, we will need the sponsors. And the better we perform on the sponsors, hey, the better it will be for the channel. Click the link in the description down below, and you will get a double on your first deposit up to $100 if you use the promo code HYDE. So everyone, I'm out of here. I got to work in the morning. What time is it? It's almost midnight. I got to work in the morning. Everyone, thank you so much for coming out. Another great episode of Power Rankings. It's always fun doing the Power Rankings with you. Have yourself a great night. Be on the lookout for hot takes this week. I'm going to keep doing some hot takes. And I might go live earlier next Sunday. Be on the lookout for that. Because I'm back to work now. I would like to maybe do these a little earlier. Maybe even around like 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. So, just because with work and everything, having to wake up in the morning, this is better for me. So be on the lookout. I'm going to try and do these a little earlier next week. But, who knows? I always end up going live at around like 9 or 10. So just be on the lookout. Make sure you hit the bell notification. So have a great night, everyone. Have a great week coming up. And I'll talk to you next time.